Good afternoon. Welcome to the September 8th, 2020 meeting of the Town Council Charter Review Committee. In accordance with Massachusetts General Law, this meeting is being videotaped and audio recorded, as well as being remotely broadcasted via a Zoom webinar. If there is anyone in our viewing audience who is taping this meeting, would you please announce yourself? Hearing and seeing no one.
Nobody.
We'll open the meeting, and we have Andy Fraser keeping the minutes. And our first order of business, we have minutes presented to us of August 25th, 2020. Do I hear a motion?
Motion
So-
to accept.
Motion made by Phil,
I'll second.
seconded by Bill. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? William Fonseca,
Yes.
Larry Levine, yes. Phil Adams,
Yes.
Andy Fraser.
Yes.
Andy, oh, you were absent that, so you have to, you can't vote, I'm sorry.
Okay.
All right, Marilyn Richards,
Yes.
Tom Christensen,
Yes.
and Jeff Bosworth.
Yes.
Yes, okay. All right. We are going back to Article 2, Section 9, Access to Information. We had begun discussing the following paragraph, which is one sentence. In general, the town council may make inquiries into the affairs of the town and into the conduct and performance of any town department. I open up for discussion. Andy, are you leaning or?
I was writing.
Okay. Any discussion on this?
Larry, could you read it one more time, please?
Read it?
Yeah, read it one more time, please.
Okay. The town council may make inquiries into the affairs of the town and into the conduct and performance of any town department.
Okay,
Yes,
thanks.
Tom?
So I guess I'll just say what I said last time, that it's fairly vague. And I think Bill or somebody said that was probably the point, was to at least have the elected board have some sort of way to check in on how things are going. And then, but do those inquiries go to, can they go to an employee? I know they don't, and they're not supposed to, but that sentence doesn't really say that. It just says may make inquiries. It doesn't say to whom and through whom, or it seems like there could be some added language there to at least put some guidelines on where those inquiries are going.
Well, I think if you read the two words in front of that sentence, it just says in general. So it's just setting a general tone or a general, and then I think the next paragraphs get more specific.
Mr. President, Michael Kane has joined us.
Am I?
Welcome.
Good afternoon, sir.
Hi, how's everyone doing?
Good.
Good.
Thank
Good.
you.
Good.
Other comments?
Yeah, I think,
Yeah, Jeannie, I'm sorry.
Well, like Tom said, I know I said this at the last meeting too. I do think it's vague. And I questioned if it is outlined further below. I suggested that whole thing be taken out, but I know there was opposition to that. But I think if you either spell it out specifically, or you remove it and have it covered in different sections, I just think it gives the council too much leverage to, I don't make inquiries into affairs of town like that. We talked about going to the department heads or go through Mary McNally. So same thing I said last week. I guess it concerns me a little bit.
Would it tell people, if you add it at the end of that sentence, you put a comma instead of a period after department, and put down as delineated and/or limited by the following paragraphs.
I like that.
Yeah, that'll work.
I like that.
Yeah, because it almost seems like that first paragraph, like Tom was saying, it's a setup for the next paragraph. It's not a standalone
Right.
paragraph.
Right, but one could argue that the first paragraph says a town councilor can, or the town council, could look into any issue, yet the second paragraph says it has to be within their jurisdiction.
Yeah, no, I like your suggestion.
Okay. As delineated and or limited by the following paragraphs. Okay, any other comments? Seeing, hearing none, do I hear a motion?
So moved.
And who seconded?
I'll second it.
Marilyn second. It was Bill who brought the motion?
No, I didn't. Feel like.
I did.
Oh, it was Andy.
Andy.
Okay, okay. Any discussion? Okay, hearing and seeing none. All those in favor of adding the words comma after the word department as delineated and/or limited by the following paragraphs, period. All those in favor, William Fonseca,
Yes.
Larry Levine, yes. Phil Adams,
Yes.
Andy Fraser,
Yes,
Marilyn Richards,
Yes.
Tom Christensen,
Yes.
Jeff Bosworth. I didn't hear Jeff.
Yes,
Thank you, sir.
so just give me that again. It was a little bit garbled. So as delineated, I've got that.
Okay. As delineated and/or
Okay.
limited by the following paragraphs, period. Good?
Good.
Okay. Our next paragraph. Town officials, comma, members of town agencies, comma, employees, dash. The town council may require any town official, member of a town agency or town employee to appear before it to give such information as the town council may require in relation to the municipal services, functions, powers, or duties which are within the scope of responsibility of such person and within the jurisdiction of the town council, period. Discussion?
Seems pretty straightforward.
It speaks to what we're doing.
Okay. I don't see any other comments, suggestions,
One question, Larry.
motions? Yes,
Larry,
Bill?
Can I just, it says within the jurisdiction of the town council. What is the jurisdiction of the town council?
Well, you'd go back to the town council's powers. And,
Under the definitions?
yeah, well, not just under definition, under section 5 of Article 2. And that would be the powers that the town council have. And I would presume that that's under jurisdiction because there's no the definition of jurisdiction other than in a dictionary.
Yeah,
But
okay.
normally that's, I presume that's how it would be read,
Okay,
okay?
thank you.
Seeing and hearing none, we'll move on. The next paragraph, notice. Except in case of emergency, the town council shall give not less than 5 days' notice in writing to any person it may require to appear before it under the provisions of this section.
Larry, you
Notice-
skipped a paragraph.
Yeah, Larry, you skipped a paragraph.
Town
Oh.
manager.
I did. I did. Okay.
That was just a test to see if we're
I
listening.
think it was.
No, no,
Bill.
it wasn't. It was, I wrote in the wrong place. I'm sorry, let's begin again. The next paragraph is town manager. The town council may require the town manager to provide specific information to it on any matter within the jurisdiction of the town council. Period. The town council may require the town manager to appear before it at any time to provide specific information on the conduct of any aspect of the business of the town. Period. The town manager may bring to such meeting any assistant, department head, or other town official or employee, or other resources to assist the town manager in responding to questions which may be posed by the town council. Discussion.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
I don't see any comments, questions, concerns. So what I wrote before, no action on that, still stands. All right, the next paragraph. Notice, dash, except in case of emergency, the town council shall give not less than 5 days' notice in writing to any person it may require to appear before it under the provisions of this section, period. Notice shall also be given to the town manager, period. The notice shall include specific questions on which the town council seeks information, and no person called to appear before the town council under this section shall be required to respond to any question not relevant or related to those presented to the person in advance and in writing, period. Notice shall be by delivery in hand or by electronic mail, in parentheses, with notification of receipt requested, close parentheses, or by registered or certified mail to the last known place of residence of any such person. Discussion?
So this would apply, because a person would apply to employees and, all right. Never mind, okay, never mind.
To the people in the know here, has this ever happened?
I can't recall. You know, if we want somebody to come to the town council meeting, we email them, they email back saying, okay. I don't remember anything so stringent like this.
Uh-huh.
Well, this to me strikes the tone of more disciplinary in nature than anything. Just the way I'm viewing it. Maybe I'm missing something, but
But the town council would not be involved initially in the disciplinary nature of something.
I know. I'm just
That would
saying
be
how
town manager.
yeah. At first glance,
Right.
that's what it's coming to me as.
So Jeannie, normally it's on a amicable basis. I mean, it's informational and it's not an adversarial type of proceeding.
No, and if it would be adversarial or disciplinarian, it would be executive session and handled through the town attorney, I would think.
If it wasn't regarding the employee themselves, but rather the something within the department, has that ever happened where an employer or a department head was asked to come before the town council where in an area within the jurisdiction of the town council?
It would be put on the agenda. And then the person will be notified that they're on the agenda and supply a supporting document if needed. And that could be added on until last minute. As some of you know, we always have revised agendas to the last minute, but this is very formal.
Yeah, it is.
What's the usual amount of time or the customary amount of time that people know when the next going to be?
So you need 48 hours notice to publicize a meeting, publish a meeting, post a meeting. And
Yep.
that's usually the meeting notice and the agenda is all in one. So it's usually done, for the town council anyway, it's done Friday afternoon up into the last minute because it's ever fluid, ever changing. So, and then, so what I do is I send out the final agenda and supporting documents to the town council. And then I send a second email to any participants. If there was an applicant for a liquor license or somebody that wanted to make an announcement, they get a separate email saying this is the final agenda for their information, so they'd be available. And it's worked out pretty good.
Yes, Tom.
Larry, I just want to point out that somebody had wrote a comment in on the chat bar. Sounds like pertaining to this.
I think it was Don Mackey.
Oh, okay.
It was me, sorry, but
That's okay.
it was a huge point during the Charter Commission discussion. So I do think that it's important to keep that in mind.
Yeah, we did bat this
Marilyn,
one
you-
around.
Marilyn, you had your hand raised?
No, I'm all set. That,
Okay.
it's okay, thank you.
So just an observation, it doesn't appear this is a problem as we speak.
Do we know if there's a specific reason it was put in there? Any form?
William, you recall?
I think it's like the system of checks and balances. That's what I'm trying to go back because we batted this one around for quite a while, but I can't find my notes on it. But I'm thinking it was just more or less, like I said, a system of checks and balances, so that not either the council or the town manager doesn't get too much power.
Yeah, my only thought might be that this might have been a reaction to the incidents that were happening that period of time in the town
Yes.
and the prior form of government. And maybe we were going overboard.
Right.
Yes, Tom?
It seems like it kind of protects some of the employees and or department heads from getting sandbagged the night of the meeting too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that,
Oh, it definitely does.
yeah.
So this seems customary
Yes,
to what's are being done now. So if the final agenda is made on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, that's the 5 days.
That's what I was gonna, that's a coincidence.
No.
Just
No, that's not 5 days.
That 48 working hours?
48 hours is usually business days, excludes
Yeah.
holidays, weekends. I don't know if this means 5 calendar days or 5 business days.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Days, Andy's right, would fall on the 48 hours, it'd be 5 days before the meeting date, 5 calendar days.
I would suggest it appears that we're not going to do any action now, but at the end, we'll look at our comments that we've received and then perhaps revisit this section.
I think it's just basically giving the council permission to call people in front of them and telling them, how many days notice they have to give the person if they, it's just giving the council the leeway to do that. That's the way I interpret it.
Yeah, but remember, it's within their jurisdiction.
Yeah.
Okay.
Larry, just as a comment, when I'm looking at this, I'm thinking about how business plays out on the council right now. And, we may between meetings, something of importance to a particular group. The transfer station was closed over the weekend and then it was opened. There was an issue, and I'm not saying that specific issue, but there can be an issue like that pops up and it becomes an issue for the council because we're all getting the phone calls or the emails with respect to that.
Mhm.
So the next meeting, we might invite the department head in to discuss what we've heard and what was the reasoning for the action in the first place. I mean, that's how I see this kind of thing play out. But it's not controversial and it's not necessarily disciplinary.
However, I'll play devil's advocate. I don't know that that's within the jurisdiction of the town council.
But we were the ones that got called.
Yeah, well, technically, would it be your response to tell the citizen, you've got to contact the town manager because that's
Well, that's-
within her jurisdiction?
And I guess I would say the town manager is usually there with us and it's sort of a combined approach. But I hear you, I understand
Right.
the protocol, but I also know that going back to in general, the first situation where the town council may make inquiries, we are caught into, we're drawn into a lot of stuff that
Mm-hmm.
should go to the town manager, but that they come to us first.
Right. Understand. That will continue forever.
And we're not complaining. We're not
No.
complaining.
Okay. No further comments? Okay, seeing none. The last section that Jeff, keep an eye on me that I'm not skipping sections. Section 10, prohibitions. No town council or any member of the town council shall give orders or directions either publicly or privately to any employee of the town who is not appointed by the town council. Seeing, hearing any discussion?
I had a couple questions.
Yes, ma'am.
Just the verbiage, no town council. I mean, there's only one town council, right? So I don't know why it says that, or any member of the town council. I don't know, I shouldn't say the town council nor any member of the council shall give orders or directions either publicly or privately. So does that mean they can give orders and directions if they are appointed by the town council? You know what I mean?
Or if there, what was the last phrase?
Well, the first one was, I don't know why it says no town council. I think it should say the town council or any member of the council shall give orders. or
Yeah.
directions. So just that, it's confusing.
Yeah, that's our mistake. I would agree that it should say the instead of no.
And then the sentence infers that the council can give orders or directions to someone that is appointed by the town council.
Well, the
Yes,
only,
exactly.
So,
I'm not following. Say it again.
That's a short list, right?
yeah, it's just the subcommittees then?
Right.
So does that
Well, also
And
the town
town
manager.
Also the town manager.
does that
Yeah.
mean the counselor can give orders or directions publicly or privately to any employee of the town who is appointed by the council?
Yeah, the town manager is appointed by the council. The council's the town
I
manager.
think it's the, yeah, I only think it's the town manager.
Yeah, that's true, because the president of the town council appoints the subcommittees, or did we?
Right.
Yeah, but the subcommittee's not an employee.
Right, so it's just the town manager?
Well, is that the only employee the town council hires or appoints?
For now, yes.
Right.
Don't they vote the police and fire chief? Don't they have,
No, they just have a,
They have a veto.
I'll call it an overrule.
Yeah.
oh, okay.
So the town manager is the only employee, I think, that is appointed by town council.
So to
Help
me,
me, Bill.
so am I interpreting that then any counselor can give direction to the town manager?
And I'm questioning that because I'm not sure that I would, I mean, I can look at the makeup of our current town council and I would be concerned if one individual took free license to tell the town manager what to do.
Right,
I wonder if we could somehow protect that a little bit.
Oh, I see. Oh, so,
You know, it would be just like me calling up Michael, I'm rather calling up.
so
Mary
because
Catholic.
it's silent, Jeannie, is that what, Marilyn, what you're saying is because it's silent, you could imply that a town councilor could go
Right.
to an employee which is not appointed by the council and order them to do something?
Actually, my comment was more directed to the town manager herself, that as an individual counselor, I might have an opinion about something, but I'm not sure it's right for me to go and tell her what to do, because that can certainly be easily abused. And so that's where I was coming from.
It just sounds like it's dancing around something they want to say, but I'm not sure, again, what the intent was for that.
I think at the very least, Jeannie is right. The word no should come out and the word
Right.
the should go in.
Right. The town council or any member of the town shall give.
Wait a minute. The town council members shall give orders or direction.
Well, yeah, now
Do you realize what it says now? that-
I would suggest instead of the word no, the word neither should be in there.
Right.
Yes,
All right, that changes the sentence.
that changes everything.
My job in life.
There you go.
So neither town council or any member of the town shall give orders, direction, either public to any employee who is not appointed to town council. So what I interpret that the town council can tell the town manager to give her direction or orders, but no one else in the town could the town council give such orders or direction.
Right.
Any employee.
And that brings me to the concern I had about individual counselors having free reign over trying to tell, one counselor telling the town manager what to do. And maybe that is something that we would just have to deal with on a case-by-case basis. But that to me says that any, if it's not appointed by the town council and town manager is appointed by the town council. So Maryland.
Therefore, doesn't the wording allow like a town councilor to go individually to the town manager?
Correct.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Bill, you're my memory man. Were we trying to prevent town councilors individually from going to employees within the town? And we weren't concerned that much about individual members, council members, going and speaking to the town manager.
That's correct. That's the way I remember it.
Yeah.
It
Okay.
wasn't,
I'm not saying that's right or wrong, but that was
No.
the philosophy.
So
right, we didn't want, and it goes back to what was going on at the time, I believe,
Yeah.
because everything was in chaos and nobody knew who was minding the store.
Yep.
And, there was direction coming from everywhere.
Okay.
Other comments, people?
Sorry, I just want to get this interpretation correct. Are you saying that any member of the town council or the town council itself can talk to the town manager either as a group or privately? So one town council wants to talk to the town manager pertaining to an issue, that individual can do that.
That's the way it's
Okay.
written now, and even with that change of the word, no.
Because
Yes.
that's the concern I think Maryland has. Of
Right.
An individual
Maryland-
counselor going to the town manager and asking for something that the rest of the council's not aware of.
Or agrees.
Or want the opposite, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
both sides.
It's not to say that the town manager can't handle the situation,
Uh-huh.
if it came up, because I do believe, based on what we have right now, our town manager could certainly handle a rogue counselor, because we do have one. But the point is that You know, I just don't want to set the stage for a counselor coming in the morning and giving Mary directive, and another counselor coming in the afternoon and trying to undo the directive that she got in the morning.
Yeah.
You know, that's where I'm coming from.
But the call you got on Saturday about the town, I will call it the dump forever.
Stop it. Stop that.
You would, sorry, I'm an old fart. You would call perhaps Mary on Tuesday morning, hey, Mary, I got this call from John Jones. And you'd want to communicate that to Mary so she could take care of the issue.
You might want to ask Michael if he's willing to share just what happened, how it went from being closed to being open again.
There you go, Michael.
Absolutely. As Marilyn stated, generally what happens is us as elected officials and the voice for the residents, we will get the first call. It's been happening for 4 years plus. I received numerous calls, and my next comment was, or suggestion was, I reached out to other council members and asked if they had heard complaints as well. After I heard there were numerous complaints out there about the transfer station being closed, I made a call to Mary, and it kind of coincides with the subject matter that we're discussing right now. Who has the dialogue with the town manager? We don't need 7 people sending different messages and different suggestions to her, all going in a different direction. So there has been a common courtesy that those comments or suggestions should be funneled through the president or VP. In this instance, I made a call to Mary. Mary was unaware that the transfer station was going to be closed on Saturday. She and I had conversations that included our superintendent, and we found a way to have the transfer station open on Saturday. The decision was reversed, a robocall went out, and everybody went away happy.
So based on that, and now you've seen the wording here, and you've been following a courtesy where your members will somehow communicate with you, and then you communicate to the town manager on behalf of the council. Do you think that needs to be in writing?
To date, it hasn't needed to be in writing because I can't recall any instances where council members did not funnel their requests through the acting president. But, you know, it's what are we trying to accomplish? I'm not trying to stop a dialogue from any council member having a conversation with the town manager, but giving direction is a whole different situation. To me, it kind of goes back to chain of command. And I would hope that they would have the courtesy to at least follow that chain of command and vet that through either the president or the VP.
Mike, do you have any rules or regulations in the town council that addresses this issue, or do you think it should be addressed rather than through the charter?
I don't think there are any rules, and based on what I'm hearing today, you know, what the charter says, there is an open door for any council member to walk in and have a conversation with that town manager right now. What isn't defined is the subject matter of that conversation.
So in the future, if there was an abuse of it, you have your internal procedures that you have voted on. You could amend those, couldn't you?
Our council rules,
Right.
right?
I just wouldn't want to hear that the charter trumps council rules and then whatever is in council rules becomes irrelevant.
Right, especially if it's not been an issue.
There you go.
Bill, you had your hand before.
I was just going to ask Mike, what do you prefer? I mean, do you want to see language in the charter, or do you want to see, and I agree with you, I don't want to see any one trump the other, or do you want to leave it and put something in your council rules and regulations to address this?
Again, to me, it depends on the subject matter. I would define it as there's a lot of diversity amongst the members, and sometimes it's an advantage for somebody to use that information that they have or their expertise and have an intelligent conversation with the town manager from a guidance standpoint. But from a supervisory or a council member demanding that something be done or changed, and it might not be the intent of the entire council, that's where we'd need a safety net, as Larry mentioned, to be able to reel this back in, if you will.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
I would
Yes,
say
Tom.
that
I'm sorry, good, Jeff. Go ahead, Jeff.
I would almost say in such an instance like that, I would think it would be up to the town manager to get hold of the council president and say, hey, this is situations going on. Can the council take a look at it?
Tom?
It just, the way that I'm reading the sentence is, it seems like the prohibition is the council not talking to anybody except the town manager. Is that sort of what we're getting at?
Correct.
Basically, yep.
And there's sort of the, a couple paragraphs up, there's a section of that's for the town manager that sort of lays out what they expect from the town manager. So can this just say the town council shall not give orders or directions either publicly or privately to any employee of the town who is not appointed by the town council? That's only the town manager. I mean, I feel like
Right.
all the conversation is because of that wording. Can we just say that the town council shall not give orders to any employee of the town except for the town manager?
Isn't that what it's saying?
That's
Yeah,
what it says now.
That's what it's
Basically what
saying.
it says now.
That is what it's saying.
It's just grammatically, the first word has to be changed.
Right. It takes out the can one counselor talk or does the whole town council talk? That just says the town council. That's every other paragraph starts with the town council shall. It doesn't say the council or any member of the council,
Okay,
which was Marilyn's point.
so Tom is about to make a motion to
Oh,
change
geez.
the wording.
Tom?
Yeah.
Tom, it should be neither town council nor any member. Neither nor.
Mhm.
Just
Okay.
And I think it's okay for a town councilor to talk to an employee of the town. I called Jeannie earlier. I just had a quick question and we chatted just for a few minutes. I didn't give her any orders and I didn't give her any directives. And Jeannie, if I did, talk to me later. But the point is that, we are allowed to be human with one another. It's just that it's the orders part and the directives that I think is the sticking point.
And somebody brought that up last week. You're also residents of the town and we're here to serve you. So if you call and have a question, of course we're gonna do whatever we can.
Then why won't you give me your home phone number?
Nobody gets that, Marilyn.
Okay, so
not
Tom,
that
your
good.
motion is,
So I move we change the wording to read, neither town council nor any member of the town council shall give order or direction either publicly or privately to any employee of the town who is not appointed by the town council.
I'll second that.
any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, William Fonseca,
Yes.
Larry Levine, yes. Phil Adams,
Yes.
Andy Frazier,
Yes.
Marilyn Richards,
Yes.
Tom Christensen,
Yes.
Jeff Bosworth.
Yes.
Okay. All right, we're now moving on to Article 3, Town Manager. Section 1, Appointment and Qualifications. The town council shall appoint by a majority vote of the full council a town manager, period. The town manager shall be a person of proven administrative ability, especially qualified by education and training, with prior experience as a city or town manager, or an assistant city or town manager, or the equivalent public or private sector level experience, period. The town council may from time to time establish such additional qualifications as deemed necessary and appropriate.
First comment, full council.
Right,
Yep.
so that's when we are revisiting at the end.
Right.
Okay. Bill? So were you leaning or had a comment?
So I was just leaning.
I got a comment, Larry.
Okay, good. Yes, Jeff.
Okay, I would like to insert in the third line where it says education and training with, I would like to insert after with 5 years before the word prior experience as a city, town, or manager.
Go on and tell us why.
Because I think if you're hiring somebody as a city or town manager, you need somebody that's got, my personal opinion, some prior experience. At least a good length of time experience, at least 5 years.
Other comments?
Is
Yes,
that,
Tom.
oh, I'm sorry. Is that like an industry standard, Jeff, or is that a number that you sounded reasonable? Is that?
Well, usually when you're hiring somebody with this type of position, or even in private sector, you're looking for somebody that's got some serious experience in this. Other than just, yeah, okay, well, I've got such and such experience or such and such, but yeah, I haven't really acted in this type of a role before. And I think, you know, running a city or town, you've got to have some kind of experience behind you in that kind of a role. And it should be 6 months, a year. It needs to, I think, in this kind of, it needs to be somebody with I would say minimum 5 years. You can make it 3 years, but I think anything less than 3 years, to me, you're not a qualified applicant.
I have a question,
you.
Jeff. Are you using the 5 years to reflect prior experience as a city or town manager?
Yes,
Or does it go on for the other experiences after that phrase? In other words, would you require 5 years? What if they only, what if they were an assistant city manager for 1 year?
I would.
Then
I
you could
would
hire
say,
them, but if they were a city manager, it would have to be 5 years?
I would say if it was a city or town manager, or I would even go so far as an assistant city or town manager to have at least 5 years. You need somebody that's got real qualifications and experience doing the job. I mean, running a city or a town is, you need to have experience for that. And I don't think 6 months, a year, or even 2 years for that kind of a role is enough. You could have somebody that, you know, okay, well, I was town X for 6 months. All right, now I want to be here. But town X was their first job. I don't think that qualifies them.
Yes, Marilyn.
I'm a little bit puzzled about this paragraph, and I appreciate what Jeff is saying. I just look at it as it's a paragraph of, to be honest with you, generalities. It doesn't say that the applicant is required to have a master's in public administration or municipal experience, or you know, it doesn't speak that specifically to a lot of the other things that are taken into consideration when we vet out a candidate for this kind of appointment. You know, the job description that we utilized in the last process was far more specific than what this says. And so I'm not sure if this is where that specificity needs to be. You know, 5 years is one thing, but what about you know, education? What about, municipal versus public sector? I mean, all those things come into play, and how they play out in the job is different with each individual. So I don't know that we want to get that technical here. That's my comment.
Bill?
My concern is if we start putting qualifications in the charter, times are going to change, and something that we put here now may not be pertinent in 5 years when we do this again. So how do you get around that one?
Andy?
I was just gonna say, I can kind of see both sides. You know, the side of adding the years of experience, but on the other hand, you'll probably have people who will apply who have a amount of experience and would enable them to do the job. Now, I don't know very well the background of our present town manager, but I don't think she was a town manager for 5 years. Would something like that disqualify her?
Yeah. Jeff, having been in the position to hire people in town government, let me run a scenario by you. Say we had a vacancy in town manager, and we posted it statewide, and there was a town manager from a community in the North Shore of Boston whose spouse got a job in the Springfield area. And if you had the 5 years requirement, that applicant wouldn't qualify. And yet, if someone knew him or her beforehand and knew that this was a diamond, this was person that was going to be a superstar and well worth applying and being interviewed, you're limiting your applicants by just that requirement, rather than giving the town council a lot of latitude to look who's the best candidate for the town. Period. What if someone was in private industry and yet you saw they had qualifications, but they only had 2 years in private industry? You know, I don't know so much that longevity is more beneficial than other qualities. And so my suggestion is, I don't know that we want to limit the town council's ability on the people that are available. Leave it to them to decipher who's best for the town.
Larry, if I could add, doesn't the last sentence cover what we're talking about here?
I would at first glance say yes, but it uses the word such additional qualifications. So if you put 5 years immediately prior, they couldn't change that, but rather it would only be available to add qualifications rather than to subtract.
Well, that's what I mean. Leave the 5 years out, and then the town council at that point in time, say 4 years from now, they want to add 5, 7, 3,
They
whatever,
could.
they can do it based on that last sentence.
That's correct. They
And that
could,
would take care of,
yes, they could
talking
do
about.
that. All right, so we have, I'm sorry, Michael?
I just wanted to add, working through two processes, hiring two different town managers. There isn't a tremendous pool of applicants out there, so I would be a little bit cautious on limiting somebody that might turn out to be a very good choice. And the other point I wanted to make is to be aware that we do have a screening committee. So this applicant is going to have to make it through a screening committee. And once through that process, there are still 7 council members that would have to vote for that particular applicant. So I believe there's quite a bit of protection there. And again, I wouldn't want to limit the pool based on some unachievable objective that makes the process too stringent.
A very good screening committee, eh, Andy?
What's that? Say it again, Tom.
I said a very good screening committee.
Yes, yes.
Right, that was very important to us. It helped us probably knock the pool down, if I remember right, from maybe
did.
20 applicants down to, what, 3 in the end, I believe?
Yep.
Yeah, the final was down to 3.
So I've seen the process work twice. I thought it worked very well. And just a point of information for you to decide where you want to go on this topic.
So we have a motion on the floor by Jeff. Do I see a second? Seeing
Second
none.
for
I'm sorry. Go
discussion.
ahead,
I'll
Tom.
second it for discussion.
Okay, so second by Tom. Discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor of the motion? William?
No,
Larry Levine, no. Phil Adams?
No,
Andy Frazier?
No,
Marilyn Richards?
Sorry, no.
Tom?
No.
Jeff Bosworth?
Yes.
So it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to 1. And seeing, pardon me while I write. So the only other issue I saw was on the full council interpretation, which we will get to at another day. Is there any other issue on that paragraph?
Larry, just time check. We're going to 4:45. Is that right?
Yes, sir. We have 8 minutes, and the next paragraph we can be in is 1 sentence, and I'll cut you off at some point. The next paragraph says, "The town manager shall devote full time to the duties of the office and shall not hold any other elective or appointed office, nor shall the town manager engage in any other business unless such action is approved in advance in writing by the town council." Discussion?
Fine.
Seeing and hearing none, no action. I'll venture one more paragraph. The town manager need not be a resident of the town or the Commonwealth at the time of appointment, but shall establish residence within the town within 6 months following appointment, unless the town council shall extend such time or waive such residency requirement. Discussion?
This seems antiquated to me. To my knowledge, there are no other town employees that are required to live in town.
I've never been in favor of residency requirements.
the police chief has to be in town.
Is that
Who's
by
that? Say it again,
contract
Phil.
or?
The police chief has to be in town. That was an order by the Board of Selectmen before the town council came into effect.
Oh,
I didn't know that.
neither did I.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, because I asked, no. My point was, it seems to be rather antiquated. Especially in what's going on in the world today with everybody communicating via Zoom and all that. The other reason would be, if they're hired, they're going to full well know the duties that they're going to have to carry out. And if they choose to live far away, that's a decision that they make, but they know what they're going to have to do to perform in the job. So it would behoove them, I suppose, to live closer. But if they didn't want to be a resident, that may put an additional burden on them.
Yeah, and the town council waived that. to town managers. The town
Say that one more time, Jeannie.
council did waive that for the first 2 town managers after the charter. Janice Menard and Mary McNally both weren't residents of the town, so that was waived both times.
And you know what's interesting about the current situation, The town, I can't get to the town hall as quickly as Mary McNally can. And she lives in Springfield and I live in East Long Meadow. So I don't know, about that particular thrust on the employment of a town manager as to her residency. I will tell you that I spoke to an individual, and the first question he asked me was, so is our town manager now a resident of the town? So there are some people that are very, very married to that position of having a person living in our community. I think we need to keep it this way. It's the best of both worlds. If we find someone that wants to serve our town, that's capable and lives in town, great. If not, we need to look at what's in the best interest of the position and our people.
Yes, Bill.
Do you, and I'll speak to, people that have been involved in searches, because I've got my own experience in searches. Do you feel you muddy the pool by requiring, with a residency requirement in a job description?
At that, we're gonna stop there. We have 3 minutes left, so you have a week to think about this.
That sounds good.
Continues.
I've been told by Dr. Mackey that we're available to meet next Tuesday, the 15th at 4:30. Is that all agreeable with everyone?
Yes.
If
Works for
so,
me.
Yep.
do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
By
Second.
William,
Second.
second by Jeff? Or
Yes.
Phil? Yes,
We
by
were.
Jeff. All those in favor? William?
Yes.
Larry Levine, yes. Phil Adams, yes.
Yes.
Andy Frazier?
Yes.
Marilyn Richards?
Yes.
Tom Christensen?
Yes, sir.
Jeff Bosworth?
Yes.
Have a good week, people.
Thank you.
You too.
Thank
Stay
you.
well and stay safe.